Welcome you all to today's lesson. So we are starting a new topic, which are sectors. So we are going to discuss together sectors. So this is a question that we are going to start with. Then I'm going to give you all the necessary things that you need to know under this topic so that you don't fail any question that comes in an exam. So we've got this question that is saying, this is the question which we are given. So we are given this question. How is this question saying? The question is saying, given that area of a sector A or B is 5.5 centimeters squared, calculate the radius of the sector. This is the question which we are given. So we want to calculate the radius of a sector. So before we calculate the radius of the sector, I want to tell you things that you need to study or things that you need to know. These are things that will come in an exam. So what you need to know. So questions that will be coming, questions will be based on this one. So when you are told to find, they will tell you to find the radius. This is the first one. So you need to know how to calculate radius. Questions will be coming where you are told to calculate the radius. So questions will be coming in that way. You need to know how to calculate the radius. The second one that you also need to put into consideration is that you need to know how to calculate the angle. You need to know how to calculate the angle of a sector. When you are not given the angle, you need to know how to calculate it. The third one, you need to know how to calculate the area of a sector. So these are only three things that you need to know. These are only three things that you need to put into consideration. So these are the only three subtopics that we are going to cover. So I'm going to make them very simple so that we understand them. We've got this one, which is the radius. You need to know how to calculate radius. We've got the angle. You need to know how to calculate the angle. There is area. You need to know how to calculate the area of a sector. So a sector looks like this. This is how a sector looks like. So this is a sector. As you can see, this has just come up. It has come from a full circle. Then we just get a certain sector, a part from a circle. So this is a radius. The line here from here to there, this is the radius. This one also here, the distance from there to there and from there to there, they are the same. So now we are told to calculate what? We are told in this question, we are told to calculate radius. So we've started with what? Radius. Let us learn how we can calculate radius. So how can you calculate radius in this manner? How can you calculate radius? So calculating radius, you need to know the formula that we use under the area of the sector. So all in all these things here, all these three that are listed there can be calculated under the area of a sector. So even this one also, we can use the formula of itself to calculate the area. There is also angle. We can use the area of a sector to calculate the angle. We can use the area of a sector when you are given the necessary things. We can calculate the radius. So what you need to know is only one thing, which is area of a sector. So you just need to know area of a sector. One thing, area of a sector. So what is the area of a sector? So area of a sector is given by this formula. This is the formula, theta over 360 times pi r squared. This is the formula for the area of a sector. This is the formula that you need to know when you want to find the area of a sector. So this is the formula that we use. So in this case, what are we told to find? We are told to find the radius. Here the radius which is there, When we have the what? The area. We are given the area. It is 5.5, which is equal to, what is the theta? What theta is there? 70. Say 70 over 360 times, what is pi? So normally this one comes where you are told that you don't have a calculator. It comes in paper 1 where you don't have a calculator. So the radius that we get to use is 22 over 7. This is the pi. So this is the pi that we use. This is the pi. So this is the pi which is there times radius, the radius that we want to find, radius squared. This is what you are going to do. So once you reach at this stage, you don't have a calculator. So you are going now to start manipulating these numbers. You start evaluating, you start simplifying, you do all you can so that you find the value of R. So this is what we are going to do. So these are the procedures that we are going to follow. So I want you to understand this to the point that you know how I'm doing the calculations here, such that you'll be able to do this at your own. So I want you to understand this. When I give you an assignment after this, I want everyone to get everything. So you need to be honest to yourself. When I give you assignment, you don't use a calculator. If you fail, you fail. I know that, okay, you are facing some challenges here and there. But once I give you an assignment, then you start using calculators, then you are deceiving yourself. So let's make sure we don't use calculator. We develop that skill on our own. So you say, okay, how can you start all these calculations? How can you start all these calculations? How can you start these calculations? So this is how you are going to start these calculations. You are going to say 2 there, it is what? 2 there, I mean 7 there, it is 1. 7 there, it is 10. Have you seen it is 10? Then you are going to say that 2 there, it is what? 11. Then 2 there, it is what? 180. So the numbers that I've remained with the cancellation that I've done, I've remained with 5.5 here is equal to, so 10 there, what is 10 there? 10 there, it is 1. 10 there, it is 18. So I've remained with 1 over 18. 1 over 18. This is what I've remained with. Then times what? Times 11 that is there. Times 11 times R squared. This is what I've remained with. Then I calculate. So how am I going to calculate this? So what you are going to do is this. This is what we are going to do. So this is what we are going to follow. We follow this. So you are going to multiply. You are going to say 5.5 times 18. So what are you getting? 5.5 times 18. What are you getting? What are you getting? When you multiply 5.5 times 18, what are you getting? We are getting 99, which is equal to, 99 is equal to, so here I've just cross multiplied here. I've gotten 99. Then 11 R squared. Then I divide both sides by what? Both sides by 11. 11 here, 11 here. So that these two can be cancelled. I remain with what? I remain with R squared, which is equal to, what is the 99 divided by 11? What are you going to get? You are going to get what? 9. Then you introduce the square root. So that you come up with that one, introduce the square root like that. So what is the square root of 9? What is the square root of 9? The square root of 9 is 3. So which means the radius is equal to what? The radius is equal to 3. Then you say 3 centimeters because the area at 3 centimeters squared. So which means you've calculated the what? You've calculated the radius. This is how we calculate the radius. So a question will come in this first type. So this is type number 1 in which a question will come in an exam. This is how we do the calculations. Have you seen? So my calculations cannot be your calculations. So don't follow what I'm doing. But if you don't know anything, it's better you follow what I'm doing. But if you know another way of calculating this, you can go with that one. But by the end of the day, we must achieve at one answer. Same applies when I tell you 3 times 12. We are going to put in different calculations, but by the end of the day, we are going to arrive at the same answer. Some people will start listing, some people will do their own style of calculating, but we need to form one answer. We'll still come up with one answer. So this is how we do those things. So even you may have a different way of calculating. So use the same one, but by the end of the day, we need to form, or we need to come at the same answer. This is example number 1 that I've solved. Have you seen the way I've calculated? I've done all these calculations. This is paper 1 where you are not given a calculator. So let's make sure that we know this, we understand all these procedures that I've done here. You make sure that you know this. So make sure that you know. Only one formula that I'm using, and this is the formula that can help me with all the calculations that I've done. So I've done a lot of calculations using one formula, only this formula. Let us look at another example. So I'm going to put this example here. So I'm going to write it here. This is another example. I'm going to write it here. So I'm going to say you are given a question like this. So this one is in this manner, like this. It is like this. You are given something like this. This is how it is, like this. This is what you are given. So you are given the angle here, which is 72. You are given the angle 72. We are given that angle 72. Then you are given the radius here, which is 14 centimeters. This is what we are given. So this is a what? This is a sector. This is a sector. The way it is, this is a sector. So this one was supposed to come out like this. This is a what? This is a sector. This is a sector like this. So now, the question is saying calculate the area of a sector. This is the question. The question is here. The question is just saying calculate. Calculate what? Area. You want to calculate area of a sector. So we go to a different one now. We in this now want to calculate area of a what? Area of a sector. How you can calculate the area of a sector. So how can you calculate the area of a sector? How can you calculate the area of a sector? You are going to use the same formula that we used. So the same formula that I was using to come up with all those solutions is the same one I'm going to use. Where I'm going to say area of a sector is equal to this formula. Theta over 360 times pi r squared. This is the formula I'm going to use. So this is the formula that we get to use. This is the formula that we get to use. This is the formula that we get to use. This is the formula that we get to use. Have you seen the way I've done it? This is how we need to do it. These are the things that you need to put into consideration. These are things that you need to put now. So now, how can you work out this? How can you work out this? What you are going to do, this is what you are going to do. So you are going to say that you are taught to find area. Area is equal to, what is the theta? What theta are you given? 72. So you can say 72 over what? 72 over what? 360, like this, 360. Then you say times. Have you seen? Times. What is your pi? I have told you you always need to use 22 over 7. times what is your radius? Radius, what is your radius? The radius is there. This is the radius. It is 14. So I'm going to say 14 squared. Have you seen 14 what? 14 squared. That is what I need to do. So with these calculations now, I start working out this now. How can I work out this? How can I multiply all these numbers which are here? How can I work out this part? So you start now doing what? The calculations starts now. So the calculations starts now. You start all the calculations, you start all the calculations. So you need to make sure that you do the right thing. So let us start the calculations now. Let us start the calculations. So how are we going to go about this one? You say, okay, what I'm going to do first is this. This is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to say area of a sector is equal to, I start now the cancelling thing. I say, what is 2 there? 2 there is what? 11. 2 into 22, it is 11. 2 there, it is what? 180. You are going to get a 180 there. A 180. So now I say, what is, if I say, what is 14 times 14? So 14 times 14, what am I getting? I'm getting 196. Have you seen? So 196 is, so here there is 196. 196 divided by 7, or 7 into 196. So you say 196 divided by 7. What are you getting? You are getting 28. So 7 cancelled. 7 there, it is 28. So what I've remained with is 72 over 180 times 11 times 28. This is what I've remained with. Where I'm going to say area of a sector is equal to what? So the area of a sector is now equal to what? So I now do the calculations. Make sure that you do all the calculations very well, correct and neatly. So you say, okay, what is 2 there? 2 there, it is what? 36. 2 there, it is 36. What is 2 there? 2 there, it is what? 90. Have you seen? It is 90. So you say, okay, this is what you are going to do. 36 over 90. 2 can also go there. 2 there, it is 18. 2 there, it is what? 45. Have you seen? So I've remained with 18 over, you can check this, 45 times 11 times 28. You follow these procedures. So these are the procedures that you are going to put into consideration. So you say now 18 times 11 times 28, what are you getting? What are you going to get here? When you do all these calculations, what are you going to get? So when you do all these calculations that I've put here, what answer are you going to get? What answer are you getting? So you say, okay, you can further reduce this. You say, okay, from here now, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So you say this times that, then you divide by 45. So you do your calculations, you do your math there until you come up with the answer. You do your math, you do some math there. You discover that by the end of the day, the answer that you are going to find will be like this. This is the answer that you are going to find. So you can check out this. It is 123.2. So area of a sector is equal to 123.2. Have you seen? So they are at centimeters. So we use centimeters squared. So this is the what? Area of a sector. So this is how you calculate the area of a sector. So questions will be coming in this manner. So let's make sure that we do all the necessary things. We do all the calculations which are required So this is how you need to do your calculations. This is how you need to do all your working. So we've learned how to calculate the radius. We've learned how to calculate the area of a sector. The other thing which we are going to now, which will be the last one in this lesson is a short lesson. So the last one that we are going to do is on the how to find now the theta if you are not given the theta. How can you calculate the theta when you are not given the theta? What are some of the things that you need to do? So what are you going to do now if you are not given the what? If you are not given the theta. So let me give you this example. Let me give you this question. I see how many people are going to get. So let's make sure that we get the concept, we understand. I want to make this very simple so that everyone can understand and get the concept. So I'm going just to write it here. So I'm going to put it here like this. This is where I'm going to put it like this. It is like this. I'm going to put it here like this. So here the theta is not given. But what are we given? We are given this is O, this is B, this is A. We are given that. So what are we taught to find? Here the theta is not given, but we are given the radius, which is 4.2 meters. This is what we are given. We are given that. Then the question is saying, this is the question. The question is saying, we want to find what? The question is saying, find the theta. Find what? Find theta. If area is equal to 9.24 meter squared. So that is a square there, meter squared. Hope you are able to see this. Hope you are able to understand. Find the theta. Want to calculate the theta which is there. If we are given the radius and the area. How can we calculate this? How can we go about this one? How can you calculate this one? How can we answer this one? How can we go about this one? How can we go about this one? So I'm going to do this. This is what I'm going to do. So let's make sure that we follow this. We follow this procedure. These are procedures that I want you to know. So I'm writing the formula here. I'm writing the what? The formula. So I'm saying, okay, area of a sector is equal to theta over 360 times pi r squared. This is what you are given. The formula, you know it. You need to make sure that you know this formula. Make sure that you know and understand this formula. Let's make sure that we know this and understand it. So this is what we are going to do. So I'm going to say now, I'm given the area, which is what? 9.24. This is what I'm given. 9.24, which is equal to. So is equal to what? Theta will maintain over 360 times what is my pi? 22 over 7 times what is my radius? My radius I'm given it is what? 4.2. So 4.2 there. So I say 4.2, I do this, then I square. This is what I'm going to do. I do what? I square. So now I start doing the calculations. After you are done with this, you start doing the calculation now. The calculation starts. You need to start now the calculations. Start the calculations. How are you going to do these calculations? I'm going to show you the easiest way of doing this. So, okay, you start the calculations. How are you going to start the calculations here? How are you going to start the calculations here? In which way are you going to start the calculations? You say, okay, here you cancel out here. What is 2 there? 2 there it is 11. What is 2 there? 2 there it is what? 2 there it is what? 180. Have you seen 180? This is what you are going to do. You are going to form what? 180. So this is the 180 that is here. So after you do this, what is the other thing are you going to consider now? So the other thing that you are going to consider is that you are going to multiply these two. So you are going to have 9.24 is equal to, what is 180 times 7? So you do these calculations on a separate paper. You do this on a separate paper on your own. It is what? So here, on top here, what are we having? Down here, you say 180 times 7, you're going to get 2,000. You are going to get 1,260 like this. On top there, this is 2.4 times 2.4. So 4.2 times 4.2. You do this on a separate paper. You calculate this, you're going to get 17.64. 17.64 times the 11 which is here, times the what? The 11 which is here. So you say times 11. What are you getting? What are you going to get here? So what you are going to get is what? You are going to get, this is the number that you are going to get. You are going to get 194.04. Then you put the theta there. Put the theta. Have you seen? This is what you are going to do. Then you do this here 1. Then you start multiplying. You do cross multiplication. So this is a bit involving and it has got bigger numbers now. So you need to be used to bigger numbers. So you cross multiply. So when you cross multiply here, what answer are you going to get? What is your solution when you cross multiply there? What solution are you going to get? So when you cross multiply, what solution are you going to get? So let me do this. What solution are we going to get? So this, the same answer here. So we are going to say 9.24 on a separate paper times 1,260. When you multiply, what are you going to get? You are going to get 11,642, which is equal to, 642.4. So there is a 0.4 here, 0.4, which is equal to 194.04. This is what we are going to get. So there is a theta there. There is a theta which is attached. There is a theta which is attached there. So now you do the calculations and what answer are you going to get? So you say, okay, you divide both sides by 194.04 like this. You also divide here 194.04. So this will be what? Cancelled. These two are going to be cancelled. So those are going to be cancelled. You are going to remain with theta, which is equal to. So when you divide here, what are you going to get? You say that is 11,642.4 divided by 194.04. What are you getting? What are you going to get? So when you divide there, what are you going to get? 11,642, 0.4. Then you divide by 194. So 194.04. What answer are you getting? You need to get a 60. So that is a what? 60 degrees. So the theta there, it is 60 degrees. So this is your theta. This is how you need to do those calculations. So those are the calculations you need to do. These ones are a bit involving. So you need to make sure that you are used to these. You know how to go about them. So the key thing here is to be used. Make sure you are used to these calculations. As you can see, especially the last one here, which you are told to find the angle, it's a bit involving. You need to make sure that you know it, you know how to go about it. So these are the three types in which equation will be coming in your exam. So these are the three types. So this is the end. Let me give you the assignment in the group. Now, the other thing now, lastly, you discover that last night I discovered that we were facing challenges on how to answer this equation. So it was like this. Let me answer it. It was like this. Then they were saying the question was solve for x. Solve for x. So I want to answer it. So this is different from what we are doing. So how can we answer this? So the question is saying solve for x. So how can you solve for x? So 2x cubed is equal to 16. So you want to solve for x, you divide by what? 2. You also divide there by 2. So the 2 and the 2 there are going to be cancelled. What are you going to remain with? You're going to remain with x cubed is equal to 16 divided by 2. It is 8. You're going to have 8 there. So we've got x cubed is equal to 8. So now, what are we going to do so that we come up with the value of x? So whenever you see an equation like this, just think of a reciprocal of what? 3. A number that you can multiply with a 3 so that you get a 1. It is a what? So reciprocal of 3 is what? 1 over 3. So you say x is raised to the power 3. You multiply by 1 over 3 this side. The same thing you do this other side to do to 8. When a number is just independent, which means it is raised to the power 1. So you say times 1 over 3. This is what you are going to do. So this 3 and that 3 will be cancelled. You are going to remain with x power 1. So even if we don't indicate a 1, doesn't make any difference. Then here we are going to have 8 raised to the power 1 over 3. This is what we are going to have. Like this. This is what we are going to have. So how can we go about this now? How can we go about this? This is very simple. So this is how we are going to go about it. So now here, this means that which number can you multiply 3 times by itself to get 8? Which number are you going to multiply 3 times by itself to get 8? So you start looking for a number. That number is very simple, just 2. So when you multiply 2 3 times by itself, you are going to get 8. So the value here is what? 8. So which means that the value is 2. It's the 2 that we are multiplying. So which means x is equal to 2. Now it's raised to the power, that number on top, which is 1. So this is just the same as x is equal to 2. Then you've answered. So this is how I answered that one. So hope we've learned how to solve these equations. So this is how you need to solve those equations. Hope I've made someone clear. We've understood these equations. So just like this, in each and every lesson, we'll be solving something like this, so that we are clear on simple equations. We know the strategies on how to go about those equations which involve indices. So this is where we are going to end from. Let me approach an exercise in the group. Thank you so much. So make sure we observe time. We observe time when submitting.